Hello, Jurassic listeners. Brad here. Skype being Skype, and I'm pretty sure we're the only ones in the world still using Skype. We did have an audio issue with David's microphone, I think because they don't like doing multiple tracks, so there's a bit of a noise there. I'd suggest maybe just having the volume down a little bit, especially when David comes in. It does get a little bit loud, a little bit muffled. Hopefully that helps, but we got some great discussion coming up on this episode and minute 22 as well. I do apologise. Hopefully we can get it fixed and bring you more minutes of Jurassic World.
Welcome to Jurassic World.
Welcome to the Jurassic World Minute, where we visit Jurassic World 1 minute at a time. And here we are on a good day, with a happy ending. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And on this episode we'll be discussing minute 21 of Jurassic World, returning to the third seat for the episode, one of our well-known community members, Mr. Jaye Jurassic. Welcome to Jurassic World.
Thank you, I'm so happy to be here.
It's only through Messenger getting back in contact with you for this, realising that I think it was about around September last year when you were on for those Jurassic Park 3 minutes, so it's been a while. At the time, you're going to start your own podcast, and I think you're just waiting to move to set up your own studio. So how's all that going? Or is it?
Everything changed. Yeah, no. Since last year, around that time, I was actually starting to finish my Jurassic office. And then, life took a turn, so I had to, I ended up actually moving out. Now I'm just getting everything rolling again. I've gone back into tattooing. I actually start next month again, a brand new shop, and that's exciting. As for the YouTube channel, I was gonna do reviews back then and whatnot, but it's like everybody's doing reviews, so it kind of feels like redundant, and it's just, if there's 100 reviews, why would they watch mine? You know what I mean? So I'm gonna actually be starting, I've been talking to people. I got a little intro done with a good friend of mine, James from the Unicast. He did an imitation. He does these great imitation voices of Jurassic Park characters, and he did Hammond's voice. And it's gonna be kind of like a mini talk show called "The Voice You Are Hearing is Jaye Jurassic." Nice. Kind of going the voice you are hearing is Richard Kiley, spared no expense, but with mine is the voice you are hearing is Jaye Jurassic, spared some expense. And then you hear him say, he kind of laughs, and he did the voice of Hammond, and it's great. And it's just going to be me just having people on the show and just rambling on about Jurassic. If there's happens to be news going on, I'll bring it up, but I just want people to be themselves and just talk, and I'll try to cut it down at some point. Let's talk for half hour, Once it reaches half hour, okay, man, you gotta stop. Let's go. The show's done.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing with now coming on 6 films, Battle at Big Rock and the novels, the games. There's so much in the franchise to discuss, and you can do something one week, something else another week, and just look at different aspects.
And the thing is that I don't want to have just like big time community members. Like I don't want to have like the people that everybody knows. I want to get like fans on there and just like random people that they follow my accounts and I see them posting up maybe a few things that are art wise or just Jurassic Park pictures or just fans in general, and just seeing their like view of why they love Jurassic Park and what they think of this, because it's like that's gonna be like a my YouTube, but like you guys know I'm part of the Jurassic Park podcast. I'm a contributor on there, and I started this throughout the whole quarantine. I've been recording like constantly. And I've done like a lot of recordings with the contributors on the podcast for this special segment that's called "Do You Remember the First Time You Saw a Dinosaur?" It hasn't premiered yet, but it is. I think it's going to be a really good show for the fact that it's me talking to the contributors of the podcast at the moment. In time, I'll expand it to other like fans and whatnot, but it's explaining pretty much like the first time they saw dinosaurs, the first time they fell in love with dinosaurs, why they love Jurassic Park. And it's cool to hear from the contributors that put in these shows every week for the fans, because the fans know why they love Jurassic Park. And they probably wonder, like, why are these guys, like, how can they talk about Jurassic Park every week for since, like, 5 years ago, basically, because Brad started it in 2015.
Yeah. And
we've been talking about Jurassic Park every week for 5 years.
Yep.
And it's like, how do you keep that going? And why do we do it? Like, why is it, So it's cool to see the background of everybody of how they got into Jurassic Park. And I used Claire's, quote from Fallen Kingdom, and I feel it's been really good. Like I've recorded with a bunch of them already. Brad's probably going to do an incredible intro because he does these really cool intros, and I don't know when it's going to launch, but I was trying to get Brad to be the first one on there since he is the host of the podcast, and I finally recorded with him earlier this week.
Oh, fantastic.
Last week. So, earlier this week. And so if his is done, I think he'll premiere it sometime because it's the schedule is like full. It's crazy. So he'll premiere it at some point soon, and people will finally get to hear this thing, and it's great because I just pretty much let them loose. I just let them go. Like, go on. Tell me why. Why is it that you like dinosaurs? What's the point?
Yep.
Why do you like these things? So that's what's been keeping me busy,
Oh, nice. It's we went into COVID with a dozen or so episodes record up our sleeves of the Jurassic World Minute, and now here we are in the recording for episodes that are going to be released this week. And just been that busy and not being able to record, whereas a lot of people are stuck at home and have all the time in the world, it seems, to be able to do it all. I wish that was me.
It's funny because it feels like a lot of people that have been in quarantine, you would think you would have all this time, and then you realize, like, wow, like, you don't. Like, I thought I had all this time with these months that I've been, like, I still was working. I was still doing part-time grocery work, essential worker work, but time is crazy. Like, it's, you think you have all this time, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, wow, it's already nighttime, and I just woke up like an hour ago. Like, yeah, it just goes. I don't. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like COVID's put a 1.5 times on the clock, just
Yeah.
going it a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
How long has InGen been practicing this pitch? Since the day we hired you out of the Navy. You knew the end game. These animals could replace thousands of boots on the ground. How many lives would that save? War is part of nature. Look around, Owen. Every living thing in this jungle is trying to murder the other. Mother Nature's way of testing her creations, refining the pecking order. War is a struggle. Struggle breeds greatness. And without that, we end up at places like this, charge $7 a soda.
Do you hear yourself when you talk?
We'll head over to jurassic-pedia.com quickly for a write-up here on Vic Hoskins, our big bad that's being introduced this minute, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, of course. We'll get to his bio in a minute, but a little write-up here on Vic Hoskins and his dealings in the film. Also mentions here, I don't know if it was for the marketing material for Jurassic World or Fallen Kingdom when they mention the catching of the pteranodons from Sauna that escaped at the end of JP3. I'm pretty sure it was for Jurassic World marketing.
Yeah.
The Masrani Global website would have been on there somewhere.
Yeah, there was. And there was this Vic Hoskins that it was the asset containment unit, which we see in action in the movie, was his personal security team, and he cleaned up the pteranodons that ended up in Canada, which impressed Masrani, and is how he got the job at Jurassic World, where he began trying to think of, well, how can we use these to sort of how can we use these to become to so we're not fighting them, they fight for us instead of with us, you know?
Yeah. I'm not sure. We did the evolution of Claire. We don't get the pteranodons on the mainland in that, do we? I can't recall if we actually get to see or read what actually happened. Obviously, they were destroyed, but
I can't remember. I mean, I didn't actually read the book, so Jay?
To be honest, I don't remember. I read the book and it was from, oh man, how long ago was this book when I read it? I had to be like maybe a year or two ago, right?
well, I think
It's
it was
just one of those.
2016. It came out just after Jurassic World, I think. No, it was after Fallen Kingdom because they
Yeah.
made the character more of Fallen Kingdom than Jurassic World.
It's a story that it's easy to kind of forget. I'm not gonna lie. I remember mainly like the stuff with her and the dinosaurs, and then somewhat of like the end when they're being chased by, I think it was a velociraptor. Man, I'm really blanking out on this book, but
Well,
it's just I don't remember the pteranodon stuff. It might have been in there, but I'm the worst person to ask on the character because
right.
Claire isn't exactly one of my favorite characters of the franchise. So you know.
Yeah. I think whenever I think of pteranodons on the mainland, I keep on thinking of the sales script, so that might be where I'm confusing.
Yeah. With like the baseball game,
Yeah,
I think it is, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But no, I don't think they really talked about the pteranodons. I think that it might have been the DPG might have said something about the pteranodons nesting, something of that sort. But I don't think the Claire book did.
Yeah, I'm sure someone will make this.
It's kind of messed up that we didn't get anybody else. We just got her.
Yeah.
I was hoping that at least we I don't know if I want an Owen book, honestly, because I feel like we know enough about him.
You
I don't
know about
think
him.
we need to.
You don't want to read about him training dolphins to put mines on boats. Sending poor dolphins off to their death.
If they make a book like that about him, it might as well just be 5 pages. Just a leaflet.
Yeah.
You know, give me somebody more interesting. I don't know.
Well, someone
Masrani.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Show us that first meeting between him and Hammond and why Hammond changed
That
his
would
mind.
be really cool, man. Yeah, I would really want to know about more of the relationship there.
Yeah. Or even
Were you gonna
just
say,
the
Dave?
Hammond Lockwood split.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Dave?
I said, yeah, I agree that with the Simon Masrani. I mean, there's like a history there, but it's not really clear. So it'd be
Yeah.
really interesting to see kind of like Rise of Masrani or something like that, you know?
Especially when you only got the character for half a film. Just
Mhm.
it's
And he was a good character too. Like,
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed his character. I was pleasantly surprised. And then, spoiler alert, because this is not in this minute. But when something happens to him later on, guys, if you haven't seen the movie, I don't know why you're listening to this minute. But when that happens to him, I'm like, really? Really? Come on.
The worst part is we have to do it twice because then Irfan Khan died earlier, or late last month.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. Good, really good actor.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he was he was in Slumdog Millionaire. He was in Life of Pi. I haven't seen, so I can't really I remember you guys talking about it and saying that he was in that, and I still have yet to see that movie. But I mean, that's one thing I was doing during the quarantine. I was catching up on a lot of movies.
Mm.
But
Life of Pi, as I told Brad here, it's very visual. It's kind of like Avatar, where it's very, very visually strong, and it has a kind of like whoa ending, where like you're just like dumped on that the whole thing's a metaphor, and you're like, oh, damn. Just think about everything you just watched and what really went down. You know?
Yeah, kind of like what you get when you watch Vanilla Sky, in a way.
Uh-huh.
Find out like the whole thing was just, it's not really happening.
Yeah.
Those I like when they do that in movies. I don't like when they do it all the time, because then it becomes that trope where it was all a dream. Ah, come on.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a familiar chat next minute when we talk about Omar Sy and some of the films he's been in, whether we've seen them or not. But heading over to IMDb briefly for Vincent D'Onofrio's little entry here. I think my first meeting or seeing him on screen would have been Men in Black, as Edgar the Bug.
Yeah.
Just so many different roles from that to recently with Kingpin and Daredevil. I love how he come back and put his voice to the Lego games as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really cool, like, the times I've seen him in like interviews, he seems like a really cool, down to earth guy, and like he's a good actor. First movie I remember like vividly seeing him, like I forgot he was in Men in Black as the Bug. That's how good he was with that bug. I didn't even recognize him, and then you realize it was like,
the makeup is, I mean, it just slowly gets rotted and more rotted throughout the movie. By the time that he just kind of pops, that bug form pops out of the Edgar suit, he's got the skin's like all paled and cracked and. I was watching Men in Black the other night.
I used to be able to do it like a while back, like a really good impression of him, like when he's like talking to him. And it was like, yeah. But I remember him vividly in the movie The Cell.
Yep.
That was a good one.
I think that was 2000.
Yeah, like he was great in that one. Like I didn't care so much for J-Lo in it, like, but he was good in it. The movie, the premise, the plot is fantastic. I just don't think J-Lo's the most amazing actress for a movie like that. No.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues with singers being actors.
I was not the Men in Black fan when I was like a really little kid. Everything was Jurassic Park or Star Wars or nothing.
Mm-hmm,
but I remember like my parents were big fans of Law and Order, so
Yep.
The thing I was first introduced him in was with the spin-off series Criminal Intent.
Oh yeah, he was a detective on it, right?
Yeah, he was a detective on Criminal Intent, and then it wasn't until years later that I think the first thing I actually watched with him in it was Full Metal Jacket. Actually, started alongside Ludlow.
That's right. Yes.
I see that here.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? He started on
He-
with who?
Ludlow plays what was it, Joker or Cowboy, the one with the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least
really?
Howard. Yeah.
Howard is in that one too.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I did not know that was Ludlow.
And from
Yeah.
Oh, I have to go back and look at that. That's crazy.
and from memory too, I think he makes it to the end.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, that's probably where, I mean, if you go into like a weird universe, that's where they got trained, and
Hmm.
they both went into InGen from there on. But I know one of them didn't really make it, but he faked his death in the film, and that's why he's in Fallen Kingdom. He's still crazy.
Well, yeah, it's like his character in the Lego game, or Lego cartoon, that chasing around the guy in the costumes, thinking he's a talking dinosaur.
He does that in the Lego show. I haven't seen the Lego show, so
Yeah.
I'm like, wait. Oh
Yeah,
my
he's,
god.
he's walking around with the little Trent gun chasing the. There's a guy, one of the park employees dressed up in a dinosaur costume, which looks nothing like any of the dinosaurs in the park. It's just a generic green, almost Barney costume, and he thinks it's a talking dinosaur and tries to hunt him.
Yeah, the Lego guys are great. They really do some good stuff. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh! Hey, that's good. That is damn good. Very good. See? Charlie? That's what you get. Echo, there you go. Delta. Blue? This one's for you.
All right, guys, ready to get into minute 22. No,
Yeah.
21. 21 it is.
21.
Yeah.
As we're in minute 20 of Jurassic World, Owen sent the raptors off to play. As we open on minute 21, and with a longer show than what we normally do, having a guest on, I'm just going to say it ends with Hoskins thinking the raptors can take orders. We'll fill in the in-between bits right now.
As we ended last minute, we've seen some form of control that Owen had over the raptors. But as we open here, Barry's walking on the catwalk, clapping his hands and laughing. He's obviously excited that this little test or little training exercise has gone well.
Mm-hmm.
And over at the side here, we can see some of the onlookers, which we'll talk about in a minute, giving high fives as well.
And one very special onlooker among them.
Yeah, yep.
Yep, I met one of the onlookers.
Me too, actually.
Awesome.
Well, we'll go into it now then. Do tell.
Go ahead, David. You take it.
It is he was among the first paleontological advisors in the first movie, along with Backer and Mark Hallett. And so he was kind of like the only one who was the holdout throughout the franchise after Backer and Hallett were done with their work on the movie. He stayed for the second and third movie and was influential in the Spinosaurus and his portrayal in the third movie. But this one, he kind of, I don't think he had as big as a role for Jurassic World. I know he didn't really work on Fallen Kingdom at all, and now we have Brusati as the paleontological advisor on Fallen Kingdom. But yeah, Jack Horner is among the onlookers you can see in the background here throughout this next minute.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the long gray hair and glasses.
Yeah, we get a lot closer look here in a minute too when Hoskins comes on the scene. A lot of them sort of dressed up in the either Vietnam vet sort of look or big game hunter sort of look. I don't know if anything come out of the film, whether these were just extras, locals they put on, because they seem sort of out of place here in this training area. Sort of older guys in khaki and that.
Something cool about meeting Jack Horner. I think I told you guys before on the podcast, or maybe on other podcasts. You guys know that I've made my own lucky pack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like my own. He signed it. It's his name is on
cool.
my lucky pack. Yeah, I have his signature on my lucky pack. I was like, could you sign this for me? And he's like, yeah, sure. He was actually pretty cool. You know what I mean? When I was little, I used to just get mad about like him always saying like, well, T-Rex is just a scavenger, you know, and I was like, stop it! You stop that right now!
The irony, though, is even in the Lost World, he said that he had Burke eaten by the T-Rex because he's supposed to be a caricature of Backer, but that proves T-Rex is a hunter.
Yeah, Backer said that. Backer said that, and he's like, you just proved that T-Rex is a hunter, so it's fine.
Yeah.
He eat me all the time. But yeah, I remember, and then like it's funny because like in later years now he doesn't say that anymore. He's on the same consensus that T-Rex is both a scavenger and hunter. Like most lions, like most tigers, like any big predator loves carrion, because if they don't have to like put themselves over like overly stress themselves out, exerting energy to catch prey, which is not an easy feat, you know, and they can catch like a free meal that's just been laying there, yeah, they'll take it. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly the point, you know. Plus, a thing that most people like, when we think about like these predators, we always try to imagine them like in these like epic battles, fighting these like a tiger fighting one of those like big ox. That I forget their name, but they're wild oxen, lions taking down a wildebeest or whatever. Most of the times it's not even like that. They're going for the weak, the sick. You know, they're not gonna go for like super healthy male like ox or wildebeest. That's a suicide mission. You know, they get hit by one of those horns. That's it, done. Like we always see those depictions of T-Rex fighting a Triceratops. Yeah, that probably didn't really. That might have happened, because you got millions of years at some point that probably did happen. But like most of the time, I don't think T-Rex is that stupid to run right after a full-grown Triceratops. Most likely went after the young, or went after like a mid-sized enano titan that didn't have all those defenses, you know. Yeah. So it's kind of cool, like all those years, like Horner just throwing that out there, and now it's like he's changed his consensus of it, and I think it's because he finds nothing but T-Rex. He's like been cursed. That's all he finds. He has like, I think the last time that I saw an interview with him, like years ago, he was like, yeah, I found 9 T-Rexes in one summer. He was not happy about it. He was like, damn it. But,
must have been a large family group.
But yeah, there's a lot of new theories on that too with T-Rexes. It's great. I love T-Rex.
And that's just 20 years of research and finding more skeletons and everything else. Of course, things are going to change.
Yeah. If we in the next minute, if we talk about like merchandise toys, I gotta bring up something with T-Rexes, man.
Don't hold me to it, but I'm pretty sure there's a T-Rex tangent every time you're on, so it's never about the same thing.
Always. It's just, you know what I mean? Number one fan right here waving a flag.
Yep.
T-Rex.
Well, back to the scene without a T-Rex. We get Barry comes up and shakes Owen's hands as you finally did it, man. So obviously this is the first time this exercise has worked, but they've been able to do all the different commands in one go and get the raptors to follow through in the end. Because off screen here we get a man yelling Owen's name, and this is where we get film, the entry of Hoskins walking up on the catwalk and patting some of those onlookers on the back. And as he walks up,
again,
okay.
I was going to say just a slight tangent back to Horner and T-Rex. I first met Horner at PaleoFest, which is a kind of a dinosaur. I wouldn't really call it a convention because it's more of a I'm not even sure what the word would be for it. Basically, a bunch of scientists get together and talk to other scientists about the scientific finds they've been working in the past year. And so, I mean, I've met others there. It's something that my friends and I have gone to a couple times that all live in the Midwest area. It's held in Rockford, Illinois at the Burpee Museum. And I've met like Holtz there and Horner. When I actually tried to get him to sign the book he wrote, The Complete T-Rex with Don Lassam, and I was too chicken. I figured he probably turned that down for that anyway.
Yeah, it'd be a meeting of the minds.
Do you guys notice that when that one scene right? Don't worry, I'm not going on a tangent. I'm just I actually on the scene. On that scene when Hoskins comes up and he's like shaking the hands of everybody, and he pats he pats one on he pats one of the guys on the back, and if you notice, Jack Horner he like shakes his head like, oh, this guy.
Well, he's probably read the script. Because we have our first diabolical line from Hoskins here, suggesting maybe he'd hired the wrong guys to do this job, but damn, you got him eaten out of your palm. Which he just said. He's about to say you've come on a good day. It's not usually a happy ending, which obviously the pigs don't get eaten, and the raptors just aren't understanding commands. I wonder if Hoskins has been standing there watching people at the petting zoo calling for dinosaurs to come over so they can pat them, and they're just ignoring them, and here the raptors are actually doing something when no one's giving them commands.
Yeah. That would be interesting because, I mean, in the petting zoo, it would probably be... He would also probably be getting a false, idea of what these dinosaurs can do. Because in that environment, you have hundreds of kids going around there every day, all holding out dino feed to the dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs eventually get conditioned. Like, if you ever go to a petting zoo, the little goats, they know what's coming when you're holding that bag in your hand. Mm-hmm. And so they probably get the dinosaurs in the petting zoo. The babies probably get this idea of associating humans with food, and will readily run up to them, try to maybe do something to try to get the food. You know, if you ever go into a petting zoo, you'll notice the goats will kind of just go up there and kind of play real friendly, trying to get the food from you, and when you don't give it to them, they turn mean.
Yeah, they'll eat your buttons on your shirt.
Yeah. But yeah, he's probably getting this false idea of what these dinosaurs can do, and so when he comes there, when he goes to Owen and Barry here, and finds what they're doing with the raptors, he's like, oh, they're actually doing it.
Yeah, it's very, very ignorant.
He's replicating what I'm seeing in the petting zoo, you know?
Yeah.
He's not realizing that this is probably 1 out of 1,000 days chance that they'd do the whole thing right, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, he has a very ignorant view of the raptors, I would say. You know what I mean? He thinks of them like that they can be like that much, like you can have that much control. It's almost like that he is almost a personification of the hubris of Jurassic Park, where you want that control over these animals, and that's what he is. You know what I mean? That's who he is. Mm-hmm. Like, basically, walking up saying that is exactly where he's coming from. Like, well, I knew you guys could do it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and Owen's saying it's not normally a happy ending. That's where he sort of asks, well, is that why you haven't been sending in your reports? Obviously documenting the whole thing. If things haven't been going well, then of course you're not going to report to your supervisor because you don't want the RAF to come back on you. But Barry sort of takes over and says we've been busy, and we get a weird thing here where he sort of does the old tries to punch him in the chest and not too busy to catch your paychecks, which I don't know. It's like he's trying to fit in with them but failing.
Yeah, he's that awkward guy, you know.
Yeah.
Group.
Yeah.
No, he's like a awkward boss that tries to like be cool with the employees.
Yeah.
It's like he's like forcing that cool, like trying to be cool. You know, sometimes you have like a cool boss and he's just cool or she's just cool, you know? And I've had a lot of bosses like that. But I've had bosses that are so awkward they want to be cool with the employees, and when they walk into like the break room, you're kind of like, what do you want? Yeah, like that side.
I know. I was gonna say the exact same thing. He's like that awkward boss that tries to be friendly with every employee, but he just comes off as awkward.
Mm-hmm. And then, but the thing is, like, when he's not trying to be cool with everybody, he's probably a jerk. So they're like used to him being such a jerk all the time that like when he's cool is like, what's his deal? Why is he here? You know.
Not only that, I assume that he probably isn't happy when he goes there and doesn't see progress. You know, I mean, these animals they're not going to respond right away. They're not tame. They're not safe. They're still very much wild animals. There's a connection, but they're only just starting to form that. Yeah. He wants those results right now, right away. Do it, make it happen, make me money.
Yeah, it doesn't. He doesn't seem like someone that doesn't get his way very often. Especially later on here, where he's sort of talking and Owen's not biting. But I do love here too, just on the set, just the ocean in the background, the seagulls. We know this sort of areas on the coast. And you sort of hear that in the background here as well.
Which is interesting because it's not. The actual location was like a NASA parking lot in Louisiana. I mean, you look at the pictures, you basically got the compound, but there's no coast, no ocean, just the pen here kind of backed up against some woods.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, not even the palm trees around it. They're all fake too.
It might be on a cliffside, like near a cliffside. That's probably why we don't have all the palm trees and whatnot. Kind of almost like the Lost World, the RV. That was really close to the cliff, but maybe this one's a little bit far off. Because you ever, you know, you're like when you're close by the beach or the ocean, you necessarily don't see the beach, but you can smell the water.
Yeah.
So like.
I don't know exactly where the position of this the set where they built it is in proximity to the ocean. I've only ever actually seen immediate photos of the set itself, but I mean, I never really got the impression that it was like right next to the coast.
Yeah.
Because I don't think do we have like. Okay, I know the maps are like very controversial because they keep changing like over the years. They're like evolving like the dinosaurs. But do we have one that kind of like pinpoints a little bit where this pen was exactly or no?
No, we don't.
I think so. The visitor map on the JurassicWorld.org site I think had a marker for the thing, and it was supposed to be on the coast. I think it's in Sector 5 on the coast.
Yeah, because the only real sort of look at the area we get is at the end of this scene where we get the pull out and sort of shows the coastline there and where it is on the relevant to the ocean, but not actually to the island itself. But Owen's sort of straight to the point. What do you need, buddy? And that's when he sort of Hoskins hesitates for a moment, a field test. He's safely up on a catwalk, giving these commands. Like he hasn't even thought about getting close to these animals.
Yeah, and in fact, probably hasn't, unless he has them in that like head cage thing, or when they were young, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in that nursery thing they had.
Yeah.
Oh, there, and that's a shame with Fallen Kingdom. We get that video going back to him playing with Blue as she's younger. We never get the really in the franchise the Muldoon. They're lethal at 8 months, and I do mean lethal.
Mm-hmm.
We know he's got the sort of the leather guard on his wrist and that, because obviously they're jumping up on his arm and that and developing claws. But it's another thing the franchise hasn't done, which is a shame.
I really wish we had more time with the training. You know what I mean? There's so many opportunities to do like small spin-offs, even for marketing. They could have had like with Fallen Kingdom, they could have had marketing videos to pump us up for the movie with training sessions with the Raptors, you know, and have Chris Pratt with these like digital Raptors, just like showing like mini videos. It could be like a minute long or even shorter, and just show him training them like how we saw in the movie, but a little more of that. I thought it was really cool showing those videos. A little sad too, because we know that like only one of them's live, which, you know, I mean, that's one thing that when I watch them, like, oh man, all of them are gone. Like, it's just one.
Yeah.
Like, I was always hoping there was one other one, but you know.
Yeah. Or something wild still on Nublar. Left out in the first part.
That poster was a lie.
Yeah, I know. I got so excited.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a wee one here from Hoskins too. Like, he keeps on going to Owen, how just saying that they can respond to commands. We need to take the research and get it on its feet. Where the research is still going to continue without having a field test. Owen needs time to work with the animals, and we get that line here from Owen that you've mentioned before, that they're wild animals, Hoskins. Trust me, you don't want them in the field. It's just odd that we're only sort of really at the start of the animals being able to take commands and that, or follow commands, and no, let's get them straight in the field straight away, which is always the hubris of man and the scientist.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this tech going, even though it's not fully developed, fully tested. God help us for whenever there's a coronavirus cure without all the testing that's going to have and everything else. So it happens in real life and happens in a lot of films as well. It's plot. But that's when, after being shot down, Hoskins tries a different approach. I just saw a real bond between man and beast. And he sort of gets in front of Owen, blocking his way, because Owen pretty much just walking away from him. And he acknowledges that you're in my way. And over the back, we can sort of see a brief shot here too of there's someone walking around the back in the snare pole. It's not Leon, it's someone else. So I don't know if they're just on patrol or what the go is with the snare poles, but people in the background doing some stuff as well.
I was going to say that the kind of thing with the expecting instantaneous results and having real world effects is kind of interesting, because I read something the other day that somebody mentioned that with coronavirus, people are seeing some people for the first time in their lives science as it happens in real time. They don't just see they don't, cause usually most of the time people don't have to really care about the behind the scenes research and development to create a product like, say, weaponized raptors or something like that. They just see the final product and criticize from there. What science is like is it's this long trail of failure and failure and failure, as we see with the Iris project that we discussed in the last minute, and how with these raptors, there would have been this long line of failure until finally you're getting there with this this isn't the final product, it's barely even a prototype. And so it's kind of like that, where Hoskins is the general audience expecting science to just happen, whereas in reality, science never just happens. It's a long process of trial and error.
Yeah, exactly. Like That's exactly how like people feel about things. They want everything right then and there and now. They don't see that whole process. It's a while you were saying that, it brought me to this like do you guys ever watch The Office?
No.
No.
All right. Well, there's a scene in The Office. Michael Scott, he's the boss in The Office, and he's talking about science, and he's like he says something about like you don't go to like these scientists and blah 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 to find out about science. You go to the museum, you put your hands on that like globe, and your hair stands up, and then you know science. That's like you know what I mean? That's what he says. Like you put your hand on the globe thing, and then the electricity comes out, and then you know science. Like that's not how it works, but like that's kind of like how like most people feel about things. Like I don't really want to see the process. I want to see the end result, so I can criticize it and say it sucks or it's great. And I've also read about like the trials that they're doing right now with the coronavirus vaccines and whatnot, and how some of the antibodies aren't taking. You know what I mean? They're not staying that long. And so now they might actually be switching up to treatment rather than vaccine. That's some of the new research that's been coming out, because with some of our vaccines that we get, like our antibodies are there for a certain amount of years. Some of them stay for a longer time, but not all of them. Like the flu is every year because the flu keeps evolving.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, not just that, but I mean, for example, the I'm sorry, never mind. Oh, now I remember. And that's the thing with this cure. It's not going to be a rubber stamp. It's not going to affect everybody equally. The malaria vaccine has a huge variety of effects and side effects on the people who get it. And it's just something that is going to happen with the raptors. You're not going to get the same quality across the board. You're going to get personalities that are going to affect how this training, so to speak, is going to affect these animals, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get a wild shot.
Yeah, Barry's going to address that next minute with, and Hoskins is going to go into real villainous territory there, with terminating the rogues. But yeah, I think in the end, a lot of it too comes down to profit. They want to get to that profit as quick as they can.
Mm-hmm.
And we sort of get a bit more here from. Freaking lost it now. Oh, there we go.
Hoskins.
Oh yeah, Hoskins continuing. Sort of, we're the same. Referring to him and Owen, dogs of war. We know the military need to reduce casualties. Some people think the robots